Hello and welcome to episode 24, potentially even the second to last episode of our Pathfinder Kingmaker Ultimate Beginners Guide. And when I meant second to last episode, I'm talking about the Act 3 of the game. Act 3 is rather short. It only consists of the main quests and a few companion quests. From then on, you have time to manage your kingdom like I've been doing here the past 10 minutes of the last episode, where I added the Tatzlford and Dire Narlmarches. In today's episode, we will pop over to Tatzlford, build the two artisan things there, and also accept their quests. Then we will go to Silvershire and continue that quest, while popping in and talking to Ekun in his companion quest, which takes place around here. We will likely also hit level 11 during this episode, so expect some leveling to occur. I'll briefly pop into Varnhold down here to sell my trash, and from there I will continue. Make sure not to sell that emerald necklace, as mentioned many times thus far. I reckon for now I will sell a lot of my magical items that I don't need, including Belt of Giant Strength and so on that we also don't need, since everyone I have equipped with at least the same or better than this, and that is also the case for other protective gear. I have no characters I plan to use Amulet of Mighty Fists or Agile Fists on, so that's also just gonna be sold. At least not the lesser version. I now have a slightly better one. In terms, it'll net me 47k, bringing me up to 160, which is pretty nice. This will be my team for at least a little while. Now back to the main screen, we want to visit Tatzlford. Luckily it's rather close. It also possesses a great viability to move into the Dire Narlmarches. We can both move over the river here, but also quickly cross this river over here. So it serves as a pretty good resting point for those purposes. It is only 15 hours away when light encumbrance as well. So once in here then, we'll want to find two artisans. One of them is Sharel over here. What's going on? What is this half-elf charged with? You don't want to put this person in jail. You should have completed this confirmation of innocence and gotten this quest here. We need to speak to Hasuf in the capital, so that works wonders. Next time we're back there, we'll do so. Next up, we should move up here, which I believe is where we'll discover our second somewhere. Nope, he's right there. Just look for these little flags here. You're right next to the priest. This person. What sort of help do you need? Just click through his dialogue until you get this. So be it, I'll help you. You still haven't told what you want. We're looking for a beautiful flower growing in a swamp. Very well. This should trigger his quest, a flower in the swamp. Now we can pop on out, build the workshops. We might actually need to do the start of their quests to build them, as I don't see any of the workshops in here yet. But now the next scripted encounter that'll happen in the Narlmarches will be about this flower here, and we're likely to get one as we just fill in this spot and run back to the capital to talk to Hasuf. If you want to play it safe, throw in a quick save so you don't waste too much time walking around. Not that we don't have aeons of time, since we're technically already done with the quest, or main quest. And here we go, we can upgrade our one of our towns, and this will be pretty good to do, and definitely a priority as we want to build Silverstep up to a town. Seems like we got no encounter while going back, so we'll just go to the main square. And let's go and talk to Hasuf, the man of all connections. Apparently. The guards were told that a half-elf named Sharel robbed you. Is this true? Confirmation of Sharel's innocence. Let's make our way back. We can rest once, and now we can at least get Sharel's workshop complete, or rather, the ability to build it. I brought confirmation of his innocence, 600 experience, and done. I can't help you without a workshop. Let's build them one then, shall we? Sharel's sewing workshop. +1 economy when adjacent to a tavern or longhouse, as per usual. Well, good thing I looked it up, because I'm apparently meant to go to the swamp, which is hot. It didn't tell me this, but here we are anyway, we're going there. Jesus Christ, what a waste of time. And it is this one here, up in the owlbear nest. Well, the more you know. I don't care about taking damage, we need to rest soon anyway. And there's a bloody flower. So we can return and forget about this dumb place for a while. Alright, Kimo, I got your stupid flower. 600 experience and a masterwork long spear, and now we should just have to wait a little bit. We'll have to build a workshop, that's wonderful. Usual business. And his workshop is under Kimiel's work, or shop is what it's called, so we'll plop that down there. While these two are building, in about 10 days time we can go and do the artisan quest over in Silvershire and Ekun's companion quest. We will also start building our town up here, so that'll do nicely. Now then, let's go to the hunting grounds for Ekun. Before I do that, I'm gonna go up and claim this rune here. And now I'll head for it. Don't worry, this location has no combat, so you can freely enter even when exhausted and whatever like this. We can even be extra courteous and just remove the rests or exhaustion from our folks here. Once that's done, we have to go to this caravan that suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Alrighty, here we are. We have to chat to these two folks here a bit to begin the quest. 135 experience, and we are now doing Ekun's quest. We wanted to have a picnic. Natavi wants to have a little chat. A lot of time passes. Don't worry, we still have to rest once, or we'll automatically return to the capital after doing this. So we have to talk to Lindsay, Natavi, and Ekun himself. Once talking to Ekun, Elena will leave, giving us some time to talk. We can praise Lindsay and everyone else and say it was a team effort. Shall we drink? Elena's wine is quite good. It's your choice though. Success. Let's ask him how he is. We got the same amount of diplomacy checks. As long as you succeed on one of them, you'll get the quote-unquote best stuff. This one is a little bit more experience. Are you tired of fighting, perhaps? And we basically want to have to be nice to him and encourage him to move on from his dead family. It's quite simple to choose. Here's the less options. And here's the quote-unquote good options. 255 or 25 experience. You can chat to him to your heart's extent. We can now talk to Elena and Natavi over here. Let's talk to Elena first. Actually, let's talk to Natavi. A curious tattoo, a stinging wasp. Does it mean anything? This is related to a hidden low religion. Upon clicking this, it'll happen. That's an evasive answer. It is from Calistria, indeed. How did you meet Ekun? Actually, rather, so what did you want to talk about? We can say, I'll think about it. He has a diplomacy check, 37 experience, or 67 experience, and she wants to have a little private talk with him. Next, let's talk to Elena. Could you give me a bottle? A few options appear. I need a bottle for Natavi, she's our guest. We get a cheap wine. It can be differentiated depending on what you choose there, but in any case, we don't really want to give it to her because we want Ekun to just cope with it alone. Thank you for organizing such a wonderful party, and let's leave. Now then, we can have a little chat with Lindsay down here to end the feast and move on. Lindsay, I think now is the perfect time for one of your performances. I am sure. Let's begin. Your attention, and we can try and be a wingman between Ekun and Elena. Could you not crowd me so? And a small little cutscene appears, and once this wraps up, we should be sent back to our capital after some time. Alright, we can also give our pup a name. I think he deserves a name. He's been dog bro, but let's give him a proper one. His name is Okbo. 975 experience, and dialogue will send us back to the capital. We can rest, and here we are. That's that done then. Even closer to level 11. Let's take a stop over at the Silvershire Village. Let's re-bring in our folks again, and let's walk to Silvershire. Here we are then, and we should talk to Mim up here. You mentioned I could grant you 3 wishes. Look what I got. I got some alcohol. If you don't have the DLC that brings in the tiefling twins, you need to buy some alcohol from Hasuf back at the capital. It is pretty self-explanatory what kind it is. It is pretty much the most fancy bottle of wine that you can get. But look what I've got. 180 experience, we passed the Keon and berry wine we had in our inventory. The next time we then return to our capital, this will be our main focus, because this has a 14-day thing until this happens. Wait for me to think of another wish. Returning to our capital then will trigger that event, I believe, which also unlocks the path up to Talon Peak, so we have to go back and forth a little bit. But that's fine. Here we are then. She immediately joins us, or Lindsay joins us, and tells us that Mim is gone, 180 experience, and we have 14 days to get her, otherwise we will fail her quest. So let's make our way over to Talon Peak and find Mim. We can see that she's right here. The journey to this is over to the hilltop trail and then beyond. It will take a day of traveling up there, and once we make it up there we'll have a little rest before we continue to the peak. I do believe it might be on the other side of this, going this way along the river, and indeed it is. That was my mistake. So we have to travel through this mountainside, and you can see how long it takes to get there. We had a little ambush on the way, that's fine. And look, Dog Bro is now named instead of just being called a dog. Once we get this down here, then again, we have just completed the building of a new town, so we can upgrade this once we get into our village, or inside our borders again. After a rest, we can make our way inside. You may want to cast Delay Poison as soon as you enter. Guys, thank you. And then you can continue. You'll find a lot of poisonous enemies here. We'll have to circle around this area up until this point, and then we can turn over here. Our first foes are right there. A little bit buffing, and then we can go. Not that we really need it for these fights here, they're pretty much just for decoration. Those are the first ones then. Let's walk up. We got a spider swarm here, so we might want to bring up Jubilost here first. Let's get into range with him. Pull out a bomb. And chuck it at that one. Yeet. Blammo, spider swarm dead, and we can just waltz in. Let's loot this for a, well, whatever there's there. This cave will bring us over here. Mim is right there. Before we talk to her, let's explore a little bit. This is why she would die, because she's technically unconscious, and there's enemies on this map, of course. Let's see if we can have Jubilos get inside here and throw a bomb. Yeet. And now we just got a Primal Giant Spider. Now here's a little bit of an unfortunate development. We are technically still level 10, meaning Tristan does not have access. Actually, that's a resounding lie. Never mind. I thought Restoration was a higher level spell. Anyway, before we continue down here, we can now return to Mim. I do believe it's actually more profitable to do the law nature checks. And considering we have a law nature of 18 and the highest there is 20, we can do it that way. 180 experience upon finding her. What's the matter? So law nature, okay, it's actually a little bit higher. Or we can use the magic restoration spell for Tristan. And then we can try fixing her joint for even more experience. I do believe this is more worthwhile than just doing it the healing way, as you will only get the initial 180 experience by using a heal restoration from Tristan or another cleric. So about 400 experience for that. She pops up, everyone makes mistakes, what about you? And she will book her off, and this is why you want to make sure that you killed these groups over here, because she will just waltz straight into them and likely die as a result. So once that's done then, she'll go over here to this area, I believe, and we can go through this doorway leading into the new area or the next area. Here we are then, we got a very interesting area, a fortress of sorts. Let's talk to Mim and complete the quest for her to climb this mountain here. Thank you very much. If it weren't for your help, la-di-da-di-da, don't worry, I'll find my way back. We still have things that we can do here. Let's wobble forward until we have an encounter here, I believe. Maybe? There we go, Bandit Alchemist. We have the ability to sneak closer because Knock Knock is a beast with his 31 to stealth. It is an interesting read here, and I definitely recommend reading it yourself. We can continue eavesdropping. Oh, watch out, there's a spider in your hair. He's basically, if you eavesdrop here, he's basically telling you what we can expect to find on this map and other little areas. We could technically push them off the cliff, but we'll just attack them outright. They are only bandits after all, but they do contain a little bit of interesting loot, including a recipe, a ring of protection, and that's pretty much it. This guy over here has some bombs of various kinds and more basic loot. Before we do much more else, there's actually a hidden loot compartment that we can enter, or rather do. If we waltz down here, hooks, ropes, hammers area, one would need them. And there's also some cheese. Yes, indeed. Let's head back then. We have a hidden compartment that we can do. Back to the main area. If we waltz close enough to here, we see a little brick. And we want to stay close to the walls. Another brick. Another one. They're very easy to perceive. They only have a 1, so it's guaranteed. And a third one. You might be able to guess, it's a small puzzle. We got 4 bricks here. It's basically a sound puzzle. It's pretty easy to determine what order it needs to be clicked at, but for the sake of saving you the most time, I'll just do the solution right away. So here we are then. Number 1 in order is this one. Can someone click? Oh, no mind. It makes a click sound. The next one is down these stairs. This one will make a click. Click. Then the one in the tower. Click. And the third one, or the fourth one and final one, click, opens this door here. In here then we got a little locked chest with a heavy mace. With the ability Heavy Blow, it basically gives on a crit hit the chance to stun for one, or yes, the chance to stun is only 40/17 for 6 to 24 seconds. But even if they fail it, they still become staggered, being unable to attack. So it's actually a pretty good weapon for someone like Harem, for example. Let's go over to this area. We still have one more thing to do after all. As we walk around then, we'll have a little thing. We can grab this loot. Up here we'll have a fight with a big old eagle. So we might want to buff up Dogbro just a tad. I believe Extend, Metamagic and Haste alongside Extend and Displacement. Just a little bit of light buffing and then we're more than fine. It is only one animal. If you do have the Animal Bane, I believe it's this one, consider using it on one of your frontline characters. It will up the damage and the chance to hit. It'll add an extra 2d6 and become more accurate as well. Even though it does less damage up front, it'll still deal 2d6 upon the upcoming enemy. There's some X here. I wonder what happens if we get close and take it. A big old bird. And we miss on 8s 4 times. And then we miss the last one as well. That's spectacular. Let's see what Knock can do if he rages. 6 attacks. Absolutely murked. Even Lindsay can do 60 damage. We can throw 3 bombs with Jubilost. 1, 2, 3. And if Ekun didn't miss 5 attacks with 8, we would have already killed him before he got a turn. Now we have to suffer the consequences, which is just Tristan going down. Luckily he didn't die, so that's fine. It's all because of Ekun being a bitch. If he just did that the first round, we would have been fine. Here we get a little amulet of natural armor, and we can yoink this egg, a rock egg, and a lot of bird things. There's also a lever behind here, which opens this little doorway here, behind which is a exit pathway. So let's get on down then. This is all because of you, Ekun. And now we are down and we can return. As soon as we get into our border, we will upgrade Lake Silverstep to a village proper. It takes a day and a half to get down here, by the way. So it's a lot because we're traveling in mountains. Look at how slow it is considering our time spent. And as soon as we enter our kingdom's borders, which is we were just for a moment, but now we're outside technically again, we can click the thing. We can build a town. We have a few events we can take care of. And as soon as we click this button, it becomes upgraded. Blammo, it is now a town. The reason why we did this is because it unlocks second level buildings, and we also get a ability to build a teleportation circle here, for example. But more importantly, once our relations stat reaches level 3, I think, is the ability where we get, whatchamacallit, the aviary, which we need to access our buildings once we are outside of our kingdom. For example, Varnhold's, Dunswood and Tor Levine's region. For now though, I reckon the Mage's Tower we can build. I'll buy a little bit extra build points to still have it, and I'll plop it down here. So we get +7 to Arcane as long as this is built in a separate slot. Blammo! And now we can even build across the river then as well. Pier and Lighthouse. Extra solo building slot. Still this, and our wall that we can build too. You might have noticed we picked up a rock egg from here. We can actually go to the our capital, pick up a quest and immediately turn it in. We got someone on the road while we're all fatigued and exhausted. Oh, I think I know what this is. This is the Shrine of Lamashtu business. Who are you? Your deeds, which open new hearts to Lamashtu, didn't go unnoticed. We left her children unharmed, meaning Sana. The goddess graces those who fear her wrath and stays their hand from her progeny. Not only did we set up the priestess free, we even gave her a position in our court. Your mercy for children of Lamashtu and your protection of those who bow before Great Mother must be rewarded. You must give glory to the Baron who honors the cult of Lamashtu and grants him the blessing of the goddess. Lamashtu is called the mother of monsters and mistress of insanity for a reason. Her blessing can be far more terrible than a curse. Are you ready to accept it? And this is, of course, as I've already read aloud, related to what we did regarding Sana and her fate. If you killed her or exiled her, you'll get a nasty debuff that cannot be dispelled, but if you saved her and made her recruit and whatever else, you get the opposite, a blessing. I don't want to attack them, so we'll just have to say, but if you insist. Bow before Great Mother and accept her protection, and they bugger off again. If you go into your character sheet then, and abilities, if you go into your character sheet and abilities, scroll down until you see it, Lamashtu's Boon. The character gets a +2 perception or +2 bonus untyped, so it stacks with everything else, to perception and persuasion. This is the primary reason I did this, the persuasion part, when used to intimidate. And we also gain +1 AC bonus against animals and magical beasts. That's okay-ish. It's 1 AC against a fair few enemies. So, more perception, and specifically more persuasion only on intimidate. Meaning we are slightly better at that than what's written here. If you are curious, the curse is the exact opposite, of course. We have an event here, which is just an item from Shania, it seems. Monastic Karma. The remaining artisan quests from those in the Dire Narlmarches settlement will have to wait until they come to us. Look at how empty our skill or quest book is. Let's go to the tavern. Let's go up to Elena here. What did you want to ask me? Actually here, I have a giant bird's egg. I thought you might be interested. 900 experience, 5,500 or 5,100 gold, a bunch of things, and also a few owlbear eggs. Pretty easy, done and done. This is the point where you could go to the Dire Narlmarches and explore, or you could upgrade your stats in the throne room or other kingdom management things. I'll do at least a little bit of kingdom management until those artisans come and continue their quests, so I can waltz out to them again. We unfortunately have 5 days before this happens, although it doesn't matter, as it is not a new month if we skip 14 days. So we can take a look through our projects of what we can do. We want to work on our Divine and our Arcane. To that effect, let's level up Harem. We can also make Valerie slightly better at her missions with a +1 bonus to problem solving. That sounds like a level up to me, and we're also leveling up Harem. Triumph with this event, Triumph with that event, and 7 economy. It's already at 100. Valerie is slightly better at solving problems. We have a lot of events back in our throne room, and luckily we have the right people for the job, so we can do all of our events before it triggers next month. Look at that, already done and done. The reason why we leveled up is because we ranked up a stat 5 times, I reckon. Actually 10 times even. We still have a fair bit of time before the Bold Hilltop pops and Act 3 is done. This is Divine rank up to level 2 then. We can gain Divinity and lose Loyalty and Stability. We can gain low Loyalty and Stability, or we can make it neutral evil and gain a extra bit of stability, but community too. Harem, as our divinity, wants us to allow the preacher to profess their faith in my lands, and as it boosts divinity, I'm okay with this. We can also get a new event, Divine Protection from Poison, support the High Priest's endeavors. This is the level up event, and this is just a new event in general. This is Bokken with an item, Potion of Shield of Dawn. Actually, that's a high level potion. Greater Invis is a decent potion too. And indeed, we leveled up. Lovely jubbly. Let's start with Edrahil here, our main dude. We'll go another level into Paladin. This gives us an additional Smite Evil use, and also a feat. Persuasion is important. As for our feat then, we'll go with Shatter Defenses. This time when we hit any shaken, frightened, or panicked, we hit flat-footed, and this also includes the other attacks we can make a turn. Level 11 also nets us a third attack per turn. So level 11 is pretty big for our entire squad. Next level up is also pretty good, because we get Mark of Justice. So here we go, we got 3 attacks now, since we have 11 BAB. 1, 2, and 3. We also have a 3rd level Paladin spell slot, of which we will likely use Archon's Aura for minus or inflicting penalties on enemies' attack throws, saving throws, and armor class, as long as they fail a will saving throw. There is also some merit in Remove Curse, but I reckon Archon's Aura will do more benefit for us. Angelic Aspect is also okay, but I still reckon that Archon's Aura is better. Since our squad right now is ourselves, Lindsay, Ekun, Tristan, Jubal, and Knock Knock, I will only focus on them for now. Whenever we bring in people like Ragongar, Amiri, Octavia, Jaethal, and maybe even Harem in the future, I'll level them up accordingly. Valerie is gonna take a backseat for a long time, and the twins are, well, things I generally want to avoid since not everyone will have access to them. Lindsay will go into Eldritch Knight 3. This doesn't unlock a whole lot else. Gives her an extra BAB, which is okay. A few extra spell slots in 7th and 4th. And we will also select Shatter Defenses, so we can hit that flat-footed AC as long as we frighten them. Another spell slot for her could be Confusion, to inflict that on enemies. They roll a 100-sided die. If they roll between 1 and 25, they act normally. 26 to 50, they do nothing but babble incoherently, basically just standing still. 51 to 75, they deal points of damage plus strength modifier to self with an item in hand, damage themselves. And 76 to 100, they attack the nearest creature, whether that be ally or not. So there's about a 75% chance for good stuff to happen with this spell, only a 25% chance of nothing. And considering it affects all creatures within a 15-foot burst, so decent area sized, as long as we just center it on an enemy, it'll last a bit of time, and considering we can hit a fair few in a 15-foot radius, we are likely to roll that 75% chance fairly often. An alternative could have been the opposite of Good Hope, which is Crushing Despair. Does the same as Good Hope, but just minus instead of plus for all enemies. Actually, all creatures. Overwhelming Grief is also pretty good. It's penalty to armor and lose that dex bonus, if any, to AC. So very good on hitting enemies. I'll still go with Confusion though. Next we have Ekun, Ranger 9. We get Evasion for free here. It's alright, I suppose. It'll be better if we were a melee ranger, but it's still okay if we get hit with a rogue fireball. We can go for clustered shots whenever we make a full attack. We basically combine all the damage before the damage reduction on enemies occur. So if we did 60 damage, so if we did 60 damage from many shot and so on, it'll be split up in 3, so 20, 20, and whatever else. And then each will be infected, or not affected by separate damage reduction. So 20 will be reduced by whatever the damage reduction is. But here we combine it all up to say 60, and then the damage reduction happens. So we'll pick up clustered shots. There's still an argument to be made for, does Boon Companion not exist? Oh, right, never mind, it's right there. He already has it. Another level into Cleric, new feat. We can go Elemental Focus, which adds difficulty class, basically higher chance for max damage on Fireball, and mentioning fire, blammo. Elemental Focus on fire. We do this because he's a Cleric of Sarenrae, domain's fire is in there, so he gets free fire spells pretty much every spell level. For example, at cleric level 6 spells, we gain Hellfire Ray, but we also have things like Eagle Soul, although it's personal, Heal, which is very good, all the stat boosting spells for all of our folks, and some other good spells, Plague Storm, Harm, which is the opposite of Heal, Blade Barrier is also nice every now and then. We can even add an extra Fireball in there, so now we have 2 of them. Scratch that, we cannot do this, so I suppose we can do with an extra Animate Dead. As for 6 level spells, Heal is a no-brainer. Dispel Magic Greater can be useful, but honestly Heal is just too good to pass up. It removes all of these conditions: ability damage, blind, confused, dazed, dazzled, diseased, exhausted, fatigued, nauseated, poisoned, sickened, and stunned. It also heals for 10 hit points per damage or per caster level. That's 110 hit points for all of us. Once we get, or rather not all of us yet, but once we get Heal Mass, that'll be all of us. It does not, however, remove negative levels or restore permanently drained ability score points. If used on an undead, it heals them, or it acts like harm. Not finally, but next we have Jubilost. He gets another dice on his bombs. Lovely jubbly. So we're looking at 6d6, and we can throw 2 of these around, 3 if we are hasted. So Jubilost can do about 100 damage in an AoE, for reference, if he rolls highest of all, of course. More skill points that we know what to do with. We can go Improved Critical and Bomb. This increases the crit range for our bomb. We also have access to level 4 spells now, or not have access, we already have this, but we can pick another one. Stone Skin would be useful. It does require 5 Diamond Dust to cast, but we can buy Diamond Dust from Arsenal. I do ideally want to wait until we get Stone Skin Communal so I can save the cost, but that 10 damage reduction that can go all the way up to caster level, since we're level 11, that's 110 points of damage reductions that they have to go through, is pretty good to consider. We can learn Greater Invisibility and pop it on Ekun so he can do sneak damage, for example. That's an option. And now that I say that out loud, I reckon that's it's a pretty good option. So our bombs is now improved crit, meaning if we take a look, they can now crit on a 19 and 20 instead of a pure 20. So we have 10% chance to crit instead of a 5%. Finally, at least for these level ups, will be Knock Knock. We'll give him another level into Barbarian. This improves his damage reduction up to a 2, and we can give him more of these mobility checks and other checks. We got 2 feats here, because that right there is a rage power. We can go outflank for one of them to increase our outflank bonus from 2 to 4, which is pretty good. Higher chance to hit equals good. As for our rage power, we can go reckless. We lose a little bit of AC, but we hit hard or more accurately, even more, by a +1. And it increases by +1 for each 4th level. It only applies when we're raging, of course. We still didn't get an item from either the people at the Dire Narlmarches settlement, so I reckon we can spend another 2 weeks ranking up Divinity up to rank 3. Provides immunity to poisons in the claimed regions. This is actually pretty good to get online as soon as possible. It pretty much nullifies the need to use delay poison, meaning you can save spell slots on your clerics and whatever else. Unfortunately, only Harem can do this, but he should be able to do this after we've ranked him up to level 3, so we don't need to do much more else afterwards. We have events going for pretty much all of our court. So let's give it a go. Divinity or Divine up to level 3. Triumph here, lovely. Relations and culture are going up, is great. Another triumph. I'm rolling incredibly good because my advisors are so high ranked up in their stats, and I also have bulletin boards. Unfortunately, even with a triumph, look at this. 6 from advisor bonus, 8 from our economy rank bonus, 1 from unrest penalty, and I only needed a 17. And I have a base of +15 to this, due to that. Even my less talented advisors, such as Castle here, has a +12 to do it. Trishan has a +11 to do it. We can strengthen Sana's skills as a high priestess, an alternative to whatchamacallit harem. And this is the strengthening of Jihad as a high priest. It's basically depending on who you want as your high priestess. If we go in here, we have 3 options. Now, Jihad could have died. We saved him. Sana was someone we recruited back in the Shrine of Lamashtu. We are making 40 build points per week, which is pretty good at this stage. Our ranks are looking pretty solid. We need to work on relations and arcane next. We have an audience, and a testimonial loyalty, which is an event, which only Tristan can do. Off you go then. We can get a training camp in our capital, or border training camps. We will place them in the capital since that's what he wants. That just unlocks an opportunity to make him better at opportunities. Harem comes to us with his advisor rank up thingy, 270 experience as well. We can pay some build points to get a free library, and also increase relations and arcane. I reckon that's a good choice. Here comes Mim, so we can continue her artisan quests. We receive an amulet of the 4 elements. Before she goes, she wants to have a little chat, I think. And now another artisan from the North Narlmarches settlement appears. Herbalist Cape. Off they go. Let's look at our items. Amulet of 4 elements. When we cast a spell with fire, electricity, cold, or acid, that spell deals more damage. Pretty good. Could technically go on Ekun, but also just on Jubilost, or not Jubilost, Octavia, or even Tristan for fireball damage. But I reckon it's going on Octavia. Well, Necklace of the Double Crosses is pretty good to have on there. This cloak grants +4 enhancement bonus to intelligence. Good. +5 competence on our law nature. Decent. And the ability to cast Delay Poison 3 times per day as a 3rd level cleric. Unfortunately, it's not communal, so it doesn't really matter too much. But just for that 4 enhancement bonus on Int, it's worthwhile putting on Jubilost so we can save that Int headband on someone else. Look at our stats. This will go up to 24. And we can keep this away since we're getting no longer any benefit from it. And nothing happened here. We now have an open helmet slot on Jubilos that we can put something like saving bonuses for saving throws, which is not a bad idea. Unfortunately, this doesn't count per bombs, I think. Otherwise that would have been incredible. For now we'll keep it empty, but there's definitely some opportunities to find a good helmet in the future. And technically, since it's also a competence bonus to law nature, we could even equip this on someone like Ekun, who has the highest law nature in our party, except Amiri, for example, to just get +5 competence on law nature whenever we meet a tough check. I'm gonna pay a quick visit to the North Narlmarches settlement to see whether or not the artisan updates or quest has updated, or if I need to spend another 14 days doing kingdom management. So we have even more support of the high priests and all of our other endeavors, plus 1 morale bonus to attack and damage rolls while fighting within claimed regions is also pretty good to get up. It is weaker than heroism and good hope and so on, but it is permanent, meaning that you don't need to use that at a heroism spell at least as long as you're inside one of your claimed regions. Considering all of this is claimed now, we have a fair bit of things we can do in that claimed regions. We got 2 new advisors. The Magister and the Warden. Keston can serve as a Magister, so can Ekun and Ragonga, and Octavia can serve as our Magister, so she's gonna do that for us. And I reckon for Warden, it's likely gonna be Keston, even though Ekun Dio is both better and also easily attainable to increase via Constitution. He only has this now though, because he has a physical form, which is Dex and Con +4, meaning his Constitution is higher than it usually would be. So I am gonna pop in Keston Garrus here. We can give our general +2 bonus on opportunities, but I'm gonna pop over by the Tatzlford village to see if those artisan quests have updated or not. Even if it hasn't, it'll only cost me a day of going back and forth. We also, since appointing those advisors, have our Warden and Magister needing our attention. This is very good, because this allows us to get our Magister up and running, and Warden is also pretty good to get. So once we return to the capital, that's what we're gonna do. Let's see if Sharel is ready then. I'd like to know more. Seemingly no dice for them. And Kimo has nothing either. So the trip was a bit of a waste, so we'll likely have to go back to our capital and wait more. You know what? Since we're in the vicinity, as to not make this a completely useless trip, we can go down to the Dire Narlmarches locations. Our first one can be gathered from down here and continuing into the actual region. That's our first location of the trip. That'll be our second one. It's a rather small one, so we can easily remove these little penalties we have here. Let's wobble up then. A little few inspection icons here. A chest with some loot. A Law Religion pile, and a Greater Cyclops. This will trigger once you interact with this chest here. So you might want to buff up first, but even if you don't, you should be fine for the most part. He does have Cleave, so if he hits, he'll hit all of us. That did indeed hurt a little bit, but we can move up with Tristan and start healing. And he's dead, so 1400 experience for one hit to the face. Which is alright, I suppose. And like nothing even happened. The Cyclops has a Amulet of Natural Armor +2, Ring of Protection +2, Great Club +2, Hide Armor +3.
Without a doubt.
And there's a Law Religion check here. A Law Religion check here for 90 experience. And up here should be a thing. If we get close enough, maybe? Did I fail it? It is a high perception check, but I'd have imagined that I would have gotten it. If you did get it, there's an Amulet of Mighty Fists +2 here. It is not the worst thing to lose, but I'm just impressed that I didn't get it. After all, I got 17 here, 15 there, 15 here, 24 here, so I needed to roll a 10 on 2 people. Even the Dog Bro could have seen it. Lindsay could have seen it. Slightly impressed that I didn't see it. It seems like I also missed a trident on him, +3, gold, and a sheet of paper. Our next task is the brown Baldhead location. So just pop on out, pop on up, that's fine, pop on over, pop on down. And we can rest before we enter it. This location is only a few pops over here and more pops over there. So quite simple. Charge, charge, get in there slowly, U4 shoot. There is a lot of them, but they are pretty weak with only a +16 and a +9 to hit. Or 16 AC and a +9 to hit rather. They can trip, so if they hit you, there's a chance for you to trip. But one, they pretty much evaporate upon a hit, since they have like 30 to 60 AC or HP. And that's all she wrote. Simple as simple does. Blammo, skin, continue. Grab the loot there. Grab the loot here. Dead bodies up here. Yoink. Yoink. There's even a thing. We also are medium encumbrance now, but with all of that, we are done. There's no loot even worth mentioning here. It's solely for the experience from the wolves. We can head up to our next location by progressing up here. Our next location is the Tenacious Marsh rather. Let's get in there. There's also a mysterious shrine, however, it's on the opposite side of this river, and we cannot get there at this point, I believe. There's one enemy, I think, in here. And I believe that one acid communal right there, followed by a delay poison, potentially a bark skin, a shield, should be enough. Here the big boy is. Blammo. Whoops. Blammo. Blammo. Knock knock 2. And you four just shoot at him. 3 seconds before it spits. It does have thorn body, it seems. Pretty nasty spit. That's why you want acid thing. He even sickened us. Interesting. And he's dead. So, quite simple. dead body next to it has a assassin chain shirt, light armor, with damage, rather adamantine too. Plus it has +4 bonus on crit confirmation rolls. This is potentially good on someone like Knock Knock. His AC would increase by 2, but he'd lose the competence to trickery. But he'd be even better at critting, which is pretty tempting when you're looking at 25% chance. We'll swap over the competence bonus if we need it, but for now, 2 more AC, nothing to scoff at. Let's continue. There should be 2 more items of note here. This, rubbish, and over here, on the other side of this. Ding. Right there, a few scrolls. And it's nothing special, so head out and onwards. It appears I missed a lootable up here on this dude. Indeed I did. That would have been bad. Ancient leather scrap. That's pretty much what we came for, and also the shirt for Knock Knock. This next location down here is up next. We'll waltz over, down, cross. There's a pike stretch there. And a new thing that happened. Likely a new event. Before we move too far into this, we might want to throw in a quick save, as there is a item we want from a perception check right there. This rune-covered scrap. Up ahead is 1 enemy. We might want to use Death Ward if we have those equipped on our front line. Myself, Dog Bro, and Knock Knock. So let's pop that on. It lasts for minutes per level, so there's no need to fret too much. We'll have Tristan do that. On ourselves. On Dog Bro. We will Holy Symbol and get it on Knock Knock too. Next, we can throw in our basic buffs of a Shield of Faith, a shield, a Cat's Grace for the dog, and with all of this, we should be more than fine to deal with this upcoming encounter. The most important is getting Death Ward on your front line, basically your melee characters and whomever else you brought, as there's 1 enemy in here that can inflict energy drain if that happens. If they hit, rather. This right there, then, is the enemy we'll have to face, a ferocious devourer, very scary, 37 AC, which is pretty high. Now that I've seen that, I might want to buff up even more, actually. Now we got haste and displacement on our 2 most important folk. This should hopefully be enough. We'll send our dog in first, and then we'll get everyone else. Note, it is evil and definitely worth smiting. Also remember to use your bombs, such as acid for example here. 2 nasty hits on our dog. Miss, miss, miss. As mentioned, remember to smite him first, and then hit him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 3 hits, decent. With Knock Knock, we'll rage. We got 6 attacks. Only 1 hit, especially when we have higher chances there. We needed to roll a 8. And that really sucks. Let's see what Jubilos can do with a few bombs. Miss, hit, hit. 80 damage! That is beautiful. Critical damage on a bomb there. Look at that. 76 plus 7 times 2. Left it right for Lindsay to finish off. Maybe not. Left it right for Tristan to finish off with a crit. Left it right for Ekun to finish off. Lovely jubbly. So a few hits on the dog bro, and that's it. 1400 experience richer, and definitely the Death Ward helped severely, because if he hit, dog bro would have lost 2 levels. So we got an ancient fragment of a leather thingy, belt of giant strength plus 2, amulet of natural armor plus 3, ring of protection plus 2, cloak of resistance plus 2. Very good protective gear. And that's all this location wrote. 1 more AC on Knock Knock since we upgraded his ring. We could even give him another AC from here, and I think that's fine. A few protective upgrades, not half bad. The next location is pretty far away, around about here-ish, inside this little nook. To get there we have to travel alongside the river. We could go up to the pike stretch and then go down, but I reckon it's fine to ignore it for now. We got a random encounter, which is just the skeleton merchant. Works out fine because I can sell him a lot of our garbage. He has new stuff as well. This right here, since we moved into Act, better against blindness, potential purchase for Valerie. +2 AC for her if we equip it for her. I'll consider it for now just by popping it in. The Infiltrator's armor for competence on stealth is okay. It only has 10 AC in terms of 6 from dex and 4 from normal. +5 against magic device is potentially a buy. So is the tight helmet for sonic spells. Enchantment could go on Lindsay, worth considering. Any of these rods maybe? Any spells we want? Okay, we'll consider buying this, depending on how much this trash will sell for. Remember to get that emerald necklace back at all costs. So instead of paying about 8k, we can pay 5k and still have plenty of money left. We still have plenty of magical items we can sell, some magic gear. Remember, there's no need to keep 17 of these cloaks of resistances or poorer versions of amulets of natural armor, since you should already have upgraded versions of these by now. So we can even make money, and I reckon that's pretty good. We can make 13,000, sell a few magical items, get a better shield for Valerie should we need her, and a cloak for Lindsay. We will lose one resistance, but she still has pretty decent accept will. The enchantment is what we are wanting. This is enchantment, for example. Enchantment from here doesn't matter, but Cacophonous Call matters. Enchantment for confusion, and if you selected Overwhelming Grief as well. And next level, or next level, we should get level 4 bard spells, which means Cacophonous Call Mass. So overall, pretty good, considering we got an upgrade. A few upgrades. A resource we cannot claim since it's not in our region. And this sunny Hillrock is our next location. And I think we can remove this fatigue by simply doing it inside the location. The only unfortunate, or slightly unfortunate thing is that we are going to be slightly out of juice. But with what we have here, we should be fine considering what we're going to face. As you can see, there's quite a funky horse ahead. Let's go up and see what it does. It'll move forward and into a little thing up here. A merchant asking for help. We have a few options here. Let's ask what happened, who are you, I'll help. So neutral good, chaotic, or neutral evil. We'll go with a neutral good since, well, even though this gives more experience, it's chaotic neutral, which we don't like. We help him down. Another 67 experience. What happened? Where can I find the Fae who did this? There'll be treants from various few locations here, over there, and there. So 3 in total, I think. And we'll have to deal with them.
I shall end this suffering.
So we'll likely want to take care of this one first. It is summoned, but they do have pretty low stats, so we should be fine. It has some damage reduction, but we have slashing except our ranged folks. So let's get over there and deal with it. We'll have you 4 get over here. While we kill here, hopefully. Yep, good, good. We'll move down here. Okay, we split up. You 4 shoot. We can throw a couple of bombs, I reckon, if we get to it. This one is down. And that one is down. Let's try the Lawful Good now that we have buffed up with Inspire Competence and Good Hope and Prayer. 2800 experience, very worth it. The initial Intimidate check would have given you 15 or 3500, but since I'm Lawful Good and I'm bothering on the border of Neutral Good, I need more Lawful Good action. I do get an extra 450 or 480 as well, so it slightly makes up for it. This also happens if you did the other Intimidate check. You could get 4000 experience from this little encounter basically, if you did an Lawful Neutral option. Now then, let's talk to the Merchant in Distress. 2700 or 270 experience, 1200 coin. There's also a treasure of 68 gold right there. If depending on what you chose, you might have been able to squeeze out a Ring of Protection if you chose another option, but overall it is not half bad. And apparently the exit is not there, but over here. So with all of these locations then, we have officially completed the Dire Narlmarches ones. We could do the Pike stretch here, however, this location is related to a story quest that happens in, I think, Act 4. So we should be fine to just go home at this point. We can take the scenic route across this little forest here, down to the Verdant Chambers and back home. So we got a problem up here, it seems, that we cannot do yet, since Tristan is still busy. Let's make it to Narlkeep, take a rest, and then make it to our capital. After we fight some idiots, it seems. A few dead Skelebros later, after a rest, we can sell that trash we picked up from the Skelebros. 1800 gold for one encounter, not half bad. Let's go all the way home to Tuskdale. Look at this button, we can now teleport to places. For example, if I click Silvershire, wow, we can now teleport there. Huzzah! We have our Magister meeting. This top option gives stats. This one gives an item of Wand of Dominate Animal, 50 charges, and this gives a headband of Alluring Charisma. I prefer the stats, honestly. Even though it's very little, the other rewards are very underwhelming. This I could sell or put on, for example, myself, even though I already have one. I'll get the base stats. We have our Warden meeting, and we'll order the guard doubled in our settlements, since that's Kesten's choice. Lose a little bit of military, gain stability. We now have even more stats. Warden support, laying the foundation for cheaper buildings, pretty decent to get early. And supporting our Magister, which we need, Arcane at least 2. Remember, we are going for Divinity, or rather Military 3, check. Divinity 3, check. Arcane 2, not yet, unfortunately. But we can quickly remedy this by leveling up Octavia. Before doing so, always check your projects, your events, maybe even waiting 4 days for this so this doesn't fail. Well, Desness should have 31 days, meaning we can technically do the 14 days level up here, get Tristan back, and the last day before it swaps over, we should be fine. I reckon we'll look into researching another curse as well. This one is rather cheap, 50 build points and 45 days. Unfortunately, it's only the Magister. We could rebuild the Temple of the Elk for some divinity. I think this is the best we can do alternatively with Harem. I suppose we'll look into Jana Tannisson's curse, which is Candlemere stuff. Let's look at permanent upgrade, like Defenders of Land or Protection from Poison, very useful. Open Guard headquarters could also be something if we just buy build points. I'll get training camps near the capital for better opportunities with my general here. I'll rebuild Oleg's trading post with Valerie for a little bit of build points. And now I will support the Magister's endeavors. Triumph with Testimony of Loyalty, lovely. Training camps built. And we are in a pretty good position now, because we have all our secondary goals of Military, Divinity, and Arcane leveled up. It seems Amiri wants to talk. This is her companion quest then, and she just bookers off immediately afterwards. This is our last artisan, I believe, for a little while, and we need to build her thing in our capital. And of course, I'll see what I can do. Another weapon from him, it seems. Fly Swatter, a new item from them. Rogue's Companion. Aha, this appears to be the artisan quest starting. There's a reason I was arrested at the outskirts of your domain, and we have to meet them in the North Narlmarches settlement. This is likely also the progression of Kimo's one. We get a quiver of ultrasound arrows, or maybe not, maybe he just bookers off. Let's check our inventory, or rather journal. Meet Amiri at the tavern. Talk to Sharel, artisan quest. For those curious, Amiri's quest starts about a day and a half earlier than this start date here. So about 135, 136-ish days left before you can get Amiri's quest. I reckon we'll split the recording here. So if we look at our little progression stats, we have leveled up our stats to what we are looking for. Community, loyalty, military, to 3. Economy is our highest, which it always should be ideally. Divine 3, Arcane 2. We also need to go to our streets in the capital to get Eileen's thingy. Let's go to our tavern first to talk to Amiri. The 6 bears, of course I remember. 6 bears camp revealed, and we need to visit their camp. 135 experience is granted to. I suppose we need to actually build this before she pops up in our town. And indeed, she appears to have popped up once we've built her workshop, or at least started working on it. So we'll go down to her, and we should be able to start her artisan quest as well. Can I buy something from you right now? Unfortunately not. It appears that even that didn't trigger her quest, so maybe it needs to be actually built until she can give me the quest. Anyway, with that done and done, we've done a lot of progress once more. And I reckon next episode will be the last episode in Act 4, or 3 even. And that brings up the question whether I should do a small mini-series for the Varnhold Lot DLC, or if I should do that in my own time. I'll leave that decision up to you. With all that being said though, we've done a lot, so I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.